So
Um,
Shanquilla Robinson, an update on her, because now Ben Crump is the family's attorney. I'm glad he did step in. This happened in January. She went to Mexico, I believe, Cancun or Tulum, and came home in a body bag. And apparently, if we saw on a video that went viral, her one particular friend beat her to death, literally. So, the family of a North Carolina woman who was allegedly beaten to death while on a Mexican getaway with 6 others late last year is pleading for the arrest of her killer. The parents of Shanquilla Robinson, along with family attorney Ben Crump, spent Friday in Washington, D.C., demanding President Joe Biden and a U.S. Department of State diplomatically intervene in the investigation into their daughter's alleged murder. Now, at one point, they were saying it was an arrest warrant out, but no one was arrested. You had a fake Mexican reporter going on some YouTube attorney channel saying the Mexican authorities arrested the assailant, the American woman, and extradited her here. That's false. Nobody's been arrested. There has been no update. And I want to play this clip.
Okay, now let me just fast forward.
Can I play the clip? Can I play?
Why are we giving these characters all this publicity?
Let me play the clip.
Why are we giving them free publicity?
Giving who free?
What?
Giving who free publicity?
These guys, they got a hustle going on. I want to see.
The family of Shanquilla Robinson this morning says they will not give up and are calling on the U.S. government to help Mexican investigators.
It is clear Mexico has advised that their investigation is complete. They have identified a suspect. That suspect is currently out free in the United States of America.
They want a diplomatic intervention for the State Department to either take over the murder investigation entirely or to extradite their daughter's alleged killer to Mexico.
I just want someone to be arrested and charged.
It was 4 months ago when the 25-year-old from Charlotte, North Carolina, was found unresponsive at a villa in Cabo San Lucas. Less than 24 hours earlier, she and a group of friends had just landed for what was supposed to be a luxury vacation. Mexican authorities have now issued an arrest warrant for a suspect who has not been identified stateside, but who they say is seen and heard in the violent video showing how Robinson was attacked. That is too graphic to show. The State Department tells ABC News that it has no higher priority than the safety and security of U.S. citizens overseas, and that they're closely monitoring local authorities' investigation.
The U.S. does not typically extradite U.S. citizens. It is something that they don't like to do. And obviously, with diplomatic relations with another country, they have to be very careful about how they articulate that and why.
Robinson's mother says she wants authorities in both countries to remember that this young world traveler, hairstylist, and businesswoman was someone's daughter.
She really leaves a impact on people. She loved to travel, she loved the kids, and she loved her family. You know, she just was a good person.
The FBI is also looking into this case. Mexican authorities are calling this a femicide, a gender-based killing, and they say that the person who they're looking to question was a friend of the victims who they say was a direct aggressor. Guys.
All right.
Okay, all that bullshit aside, in order to do what they're doing, they'd have to fundamentally alter American law. Practically, it's not going to happen because guess what? If they apply that, what's sauce for the goose is sauce for the gander, and guess who the gander is in this place? If they deal with the extradition of this woman back to Mexico, then they're going to have to extradite the president of the United States, who's been indicted in multiple counts of a felony organized crime indictment in Ukraine that got revealed in November 2020 upon orders of the Ukraine Supreme Court, where he is clearly named by name and title in multiple counts of what in America would be a RICO indictment. Article 6 of the Constitution says ratified treaties have to be honored by all judges in the states and all federal judges. he's been indicted. He's supposed to be extradited, but that would be very inconvenient to take the most powerful person in the world.
Less on him, more on this topic.
Okay, now that's enough. It's grandstanding bullshit. Now I feel for the family, but the deal is the State Department has no damn business getting involved with taking an American citizen into custody in the United States of America if there is no active process in this country that requires attention. There is no extradition request from the government of Mexico.
No, so they just said it is.
But they haven't issued an extradition request formally.
They just have a warrant.
They have a warrant existing in Mexico. So if the person steps foot back there, then they get it. It's like this. This law got interestingly developed in the United States before they ended segregation. A lot of times, Southern states had warrants outstanding for black folk for crimes that were crimes in the Southern states, but not crimes anywhere else in the United States. So there is an interesting body of law that says they can have warrants, but until there's a formal extradition request, there is no need to honor them because that crime is not cognizable in the state of New York as it is in Mississippi. All right. Now, you can have a warrant, and if this person sets foot back in Mexico, they're in trouble. But if there's no formal extradition request by treaty between the U.S. and Mexico, there's nothing the State Department can do.
What about what was her name? Was it Natalie? The one decades ago, she was in
Aruba.
Yeah. So this is what I'm saying. There's been cases where American citizens have deleted somebody, another American citizen outside of this country, and then they have been brought up on charges either in that country or here.
Yeah, it happens.
But
famous California.
Who has to do
in other words, the matter of proof is it has to be alleged as perhaps.
Who has to do the arrest? Like,
okay, here's the way it is. If there is an alleged conspiracy that originated in an American state, and that conspiracy was perfected or carried out somewhere outside of the country, that state still has jurisdiction. If the crime did not originate in the American state, then it has no jurisdiction. The United States government has no jurisdiction if the crime did not originate inside the United States.
Can the United States allow Mexico to come in here and arrest somebody?
No, it won't.
I said, can they allow it?
They won't allow it.
Why not?
Never have. They might do the arrest for them if
can the United States do the arrest for Mexico to bring that woman back?
But there's no process. See, you have this thing called due process of law. You just can't go out and arrest somebody cold turkey. You have to have, if it's committed in a fashion where it's within the venue and general jurisdiction of some state government, yeah. If it was done where it's within the jurisdiction of the United States, yeah.
Can the United States State Department say
no?
Can the United States State Department pick her up, extradite to Mexico?
No, because there's no process of law. The only thing that the United States would have to honor would be perhaps a full-on formal extradition request. Okay. And there has been no such. And then guess what? If it goes to whatever jurisdiction supposed to get her, nominally it would be the U.S. government, the individual.
Be an extradition request from us.
For who?
You said the only way to get that girl back into Mexico is the United States do what request?
No, Mexican government has to issue an extradition request to the United States government.
And
The
then
United States government would then, pursuant to that extradition request, maybe take the accused into custody. That accused would have a right to a hearing on whether or not he or she should be, in fact, extradited and returned to Mexico. Now, you know what the problem? If you can't do it for one, you can't do it for the other one. And by the way, under American law, State Department doesn't have any goddamn claim in hell to go around and arresting anybody for violations of criminal law without a formal charging instrument.
Let me address something.
Don't judge him, Joe Brown.